Honorable Judge, I'm proud to ask for you to come up and address the board.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure having you here.
It's a pleasure to be here again annually now. And I want to thank each of you and you, Mayor, for the opportunity to come to your board meeting for a State of the Court address. This is not required under a Missouri statute or even under the ordinances. But I've done this ever since I was appointed by the board and by the mayor about 10 years ago to that principle of being able to address the board in such a way that you know what we do as a part of your government here in Pleasant Valley. It is my privilege to do that. I don't know of any other judge that does it in Clay County, but I keep doing it, and I hope that it is of benefit to you to know of our determination and eagerness to represent your interests in the municipal division of the Clay County Circuit Court. There are some statistics that I want to point out to you about the efficiency of the court. In 2023, we had over 3,000 newly filed cases and over 1,300 cases disposed of. Over 1,800 cases of those 3,000 we have warrants for arrest on. And those cases get disposed of whenever a defendant is picked up on a moving violation any place within the state. Many of the warrants are years old, but that doesn't detract from my efforts to still dispose of the case. If a defendant has got a ticket from 4 or 5 years ago, he has to pay the price, not only for that ordinance violation, but also for a failure to appear, which is added on as additional revenue and court costs to the city of Pleasant Valley. Total disbursements last year were over $200,000. Of that $200,000, many thousands went to support the Law Enforcement Training Fund and also the Post Fund. So there's a lot of spin-off benefit to enforcing the ordinances on a local level with that money coming in to support local law enforcement. There's also an amnesty program that we initiate periodically, which is a program where if someone has a warrant, they can come online, request amnesty, so we put them on a court date, the warrant is recalled, and we dispose of the case. We've done that in last year, and we had over 100 cases that was disposed of in that format. So we'll continue to do that. Some things that are of importance that I also want to bear to the board. We are the first Clay County municipal division to adopt local rules on code of conduct for municipal court employees. Now, that should be a given, but it's not. And our presiding judge established the code of conduct for the Liberty employees, for the circuit court employees, and encouraged the municipal divisions to develop their own local order regarding code of conduct. Pleasant Valley has been the first. And we have a model local order that guards the safety of those records that are in our offices and also the conduct of our employees. Just to tell you what we placed in the local rule, avoiding impropriety and the appearance of impropriety in all activities, performing the duties of position impartially and diligently, refraining from inappropriate political activity, and most importantly, confidentiality. Those records are there, confidential, even from other employees of the city. And we do that not because we want to throw people out of our office or not have anything to do with them. We do it because that's the law, and our presiding judge requests local rules consistent with what is going on in circuit court in Liberty. So if any of you want a copy of that local rule that I adopted last month, feel free to let us know, and we'll be happy to put it in your packet. The other thing I want to talk about is the ability that we now have to return to pre-COVID levels in our division. We're slowly coming back in terms of the filing and processing of complaints and informations in our division. But we have lots of room that we can still work in. We have lots of time that we can develop for enforcement of local ordinances regarding general violations, trash, dogs, weeds, all of those things that a lot of municipal division judges think are, boring or that aren't really useful. We want to have those because we know how important it is to enforce those ordinances in addition to the ordinances of traffic. And one of the advantages of a municipal division is that we're able to take those cases and dispose of them rapidly. If this were a municipal division and if we operated out of the Clay County Circuit Court, it would be months that there would have to go on before some of the municipal division violations regarding code enforcement would be resolved. We do that immediately without continuances as long as the city is ready and the defendant appears in court. We do that because I wouldn't like to live next to a violation, and I don't think any of you want to live next to a code violation. So that's one of the key advantages to having a municipal division. The other advantage, of course, is that municipal division is closest to you, closest to the city, whereas the division in Clay County is a circuit judge who you don't know, who is not paid by you, who is not accountable to you every 2 years for reappointment. In this division, I'm accountable to you. You have to approve me every 2 years. God willing, you do that. And then that approval is based upon my efficiency and my ability to enforce the ordinances here in the village, both as to code enforcement and traffic control. And so we have lots of room that we can still do and take cases. And I encourage any number of cases to return to the size that we did in pre-COVID.